Welcome! I'm Jade, and today I'm going to be going over the 26 books I most want to read in 2026. This list, I don't know if it's going to keep growing in the same way. I was able to find 26 this time, but with the caveat of 3 of them being a little bit more hopefuls and less of sureties. Though on the topic of sureties, I can only say that these are my intentions. I plan on reading these books. I'm excited about reading these books. They're not a promise to read. I don't know if I'm saying this to you or to me in the future, but just know, Jade, if you're doing your mid-year freakout tag in the middle of the year and you haven't read all of these, chill. It's fine. You don't have to. Read the ones that you were able to, and it'll be okay. But these are the ones I'm most excited about, so let's go ahead and get into it. I have my page bound pulled up so that I can see a long, exhaustive list of all of the books I want to read, and I'm going to give you a very brief synopsis of each one because there are 26 of them, and then we'll kind of just march on ahead. If you see any books on this list that you also want to read in 2026, let me know. That also lets me know if I should be maybe putting a little bit more time and attention into them in case you want me to read it first. So enough rambling, let's get on to the actual list itself. This list is in no specific order, but the first one I'm going to be talking about is Hamnet. This is by Maggie O'Farrell, and it follows a young boy named Hamnet. If that name sounds familiar, you might be thinking Hamlet. This is supposed to be based off of the son of William Shakespeare, whose name was Hamnet. Back in that time, Hamlet and Hamnet was actually interchangeable. Definitely something that caught my attention, as well as my friend Lindsay's stellar review of the story. She's actually letting me borrow her copy, and a small snippet of the back summary says, on a summer's day in 1596, a young girl in Stratford-upon-Avon takes to her bed with a sudden fever. Her twin brother Hamnet searches everywhere for help. Their mother Agnes is over a mile away, in the garden where she grows medicinal herbs. Their father is working in London. Neither parent knows that Hamnet will not survive the week. I didn't need the synopsis to get me there, but I'm definitely intrigued by it. Next is a dragon book, which is not surprising to anyone who's been on my channel for a while. I do really love a dragon book. The book I'd like to pick up is an absolute chonker. It's called When the Moon Hatched. It's by Sarah A. Parker, and I think that it originally started indie but is now getting a traditional release. It was gigantic, and as much as I wanted to read it for Draconathon, which is me and my friend Soleil's dragon-based readathon, it just wasn't in the cards. Literally because we were playing with numerology cards, I was only gifted short reads, and it just never fit into the prompts or my timeline. I'm really excited to read it this year. I think that a lot of negative reviews I've read have actually pushed me towards it more because the things that they were criticizing about it are things I think I might actually like about it, like heavy descriptions and artful prose, so I'm really just looking forward to it, and I hope it's even half as good as the cover. After that is Lucy Undyne by Kirsten White, another one I meant to read last year. I wanted to do a vampire vlog, and it just never came to fruition because I was so busy. I really want to do it this year, and I feel fairly confident that I actually will get to do it this year. With a lot of hope in my pocket, I'm gonna go ahead and say Lucy Undyne will be on my list. The synopsis says that it is an epic and seductive gothic fantasy. A vampire escapes the thralls of Dracula and embarks on her own search for self-discovery and true love. My friend Rachel really liked it and had high praise for it, eagerly hoping that I read Carmilla and Dracula this year, so here's to best laid plans. In the same vampiric vein, I want to read So Thirsty by Rachel Harrison. Rachel Harrison is such an interesting author to me. I either love or hate her books. Directly behind me is Sharp Teeth, which was one of my favorites, I think, of 2024. When she hits her stride with a main character, you can really feel it throughout the book. I think she has a very funny and clever sense of humor. Her plots can be really sharp and interesting. I just sometimes don't care, but when I do care, I care a lot. This says a woman must learn to take life by the throat after a night out leads to irrevocable changes. Sloane Parker is dreading her birthday. She doesn't need a reminder she's getting older or that she's indifferent about her own life. This synopsis kind of really does remind me of such Sharp Teeth, so I'm hoping that I get something similar to this while also covering different topics and following a different type of character. Then we have We Love You Bunny by Mona Awad. This is the follow-up to Bunny by Mona Awad, and I was obsessed with Bunny. I really loved Bunny. It was strange, it was weird, and now I have a bunny. Yeah, I'm gonna be going into this with a new energy, new vigor for the storyline, and here's to hoping my bunny never explodes and turns into a man. Bunny is hard to describe. It's really weird and unhinged and follows our main character who joins a creative writing class where there's a clique of other girls who are kind of cultish and lure her in despite main character's like intentions to not get involved with them, and finds out that they're up to some really weird shit. I'm fairly sure that the second book is more of a prequel or following the bunnies themselves, not the rabbits, but the bunnies, the the clique of girls called the Bunnies. Read the first book and you will understand what I'm talking about. Hungerstone by Kat Dunn. I'm gonna say it's mostly based off of vibes and the cover. This just seems so dramatic and upsetting. I think it might also include vampires, but I'm gonna be real, I don't actually know that going in. Yeah, I'm seeing words like Carmilla, compulsive feminist reworking of Carmilla. I had no idea Hungerstone was a Carmilla retelling. I haven't read Carmilla yet, but I am reading it this year. That's exciting. What is this about in a nutshell? Lenore is the wife of steel magnate Henry, but 10 years into their marriage, the relationship has soured and no child has arrived to fill the distance growing between them. Henry's ambitions take them from London to Sheffield, and with his success hinged on a hunt, old tradition looms over the home. The hunt is a time to settle old scores. If a bullet finds a human home, then it is only that they were foolish to become prey. And then it somehow turns into a Carmilla retelling. Didn't know that previously. So yeah, immaculate vibes, very interested. Next up is Family Lore by Elizabeth Acevedo. I love Elizabeth Acevedo. This is the only Elizabeth Acevedo book I think I haven't read as far as her books in verse. I want to fix that. I honestly don't care what it's about, but I know that the main character can predict when somebody dies, and during a party I believe she predicts her own death. That's a bummer, and I can't wait to read it. Next up is Catabasis by R.F. Kuang. I feel like this doesn't really need an introduction. I really enjoyed Babel by R.F. Kuang, and this is also supposed to be a dark academic book. I think that R.F. Kuang is one of those people that can feel very divisive because she has a message and she just kind of pushes it through no matter what. I really appreciated the way she went about Babel. I thought it was interesting and compelling, and I felt a lot. She gave me a lot to think about dealing with translation. And Catabasis, I know, is kind of like a Dante's Inferno. Two academics are trying to save their professor, not out of altruism, but because their professor has to do with their own personal academic success. I think that's a really interesting concept. I am not a strong, passionate academic myself, but I do find the topic and the characters interesting when they are so driven to succeed and not necessarily to live. Oh, I could have been holding up the copy of it. I got the Illumicrate edition and it's really neat. Hold on. So I got this copy in from Illumicrate. It has Catabasis on the side. This is one of the compelling factors of me wanting to read it. Here is the spine again, the front cover, the sprayed edges, and then the side. It's a gorgeous book. Oh wow, runes. Yeah, there's like a lot happening here. Oh cool, we have two different end pages. Wasn't trying to make this an Illumicrate review, but this is something I'm excited to read and I'm hoping that I love it. Next up is one that caught my attention after watching Meg with Books. We have very different reading tastes, but when they do align, they align really well, especially within like thriller, horror, literary genre. But I was really compelled to pick this one up after she gave a review on The Pomegranate Gate by Ariel Copland. Her emotional reaction to that is why it's on my TBR. And then once looking at the cover and the synopsis, I realized this was of great interest to me. What The Pomegranate Gate is about. This is a vibrant and heartfelt Inquisition-era Jewish epic fantasy in the veins of Naomi Novik, Catherine Arden, which is a solid win for me. I love Catherine Arden, and Tasha Suri. It says, Toba Paris can speak but not shout. She can walk but not run. She can write with both hands in different languages but has not had a formal education. The only treasure Toba has dared to keep is a precious star sapphire, set in a necklace she must never take off. And then going a little further down in the synopsis, the Queen of the Sepharad has ordered the Jews to convert, to be exiled with nothing. Toba and thousands of others are forced to flee their homes. Toba, accidentally separated from their caravan of refugees, stumbles through a strange pomegranate grove into a magical realm. There she discovers latent abilities that put her in the crosshairs of bloodthirsty immortals, but may be the key to her survival. Wasn't expecting, based off of her reaction, for it to have a fantasy element, and then it did, and I went, this is a double whammy for me. I feel really good about this book. It has the 5-star feelings. I'm getting the sparkly pull to seek this one out and see if it is a new favorite. I would say I'm often correct on my 5-star predictions, so I feel pretty good about this one. This is The Starving Saints by Caitlin Starling. I have read the synopsis for this one and I didn't really gain a full understanding of what was going on. I don't think I need to. It's a medieval castle. People are being starved out. I think it's possibly a monastery, and an immortal comes and makes a bargain with the people in there, and I think it gets really weird. If you haven't noticed, I like when we kind of traverse into weird paranormal, especially since this is within the horror genre. The cover does elicit that from me, so we'll just see how far we can get in there. Next up is The Everlasting by Alex E. Harrow. This became beloved really quickly, and I'm so glad that it did because I have been anticipating it since I heard of its pending release. Alex E. Harrow is one I have enjoyed in the past, but most recently I really loved one of her short stories, and this is supposed to be based off of that. I had a wish for the novella to not be an Amazon exclusive, so the fact that she was able to come out with a whole new novel based on the concept of that book has me riveted. This is one where I don't want to say it's a promise, but it kind of is. Like, I'm kind of promising that I'm going to be reading this, and I really hope I love it because I'm very excited for it. Alex E. Harrow also did Starling House, which I really enjoyed. It was in my honorable mentions of my top 10 of 2025. I liked her prose in 1,000 Doors of January, so I feel very excited about this one. The quick fire synopsis for this one is a genre-defying adventure through time as a reluctant lady knight and a not-so-heroic historian will fight through time and space to rewrite their tragic fates and finally reveal the truths hidden beneath the great legend ever told. I don't need more. I don't need more. I'm ready. I'm excited. I already feel kind of like emotional knowing that there was any inspiration from the other book. I think it's Seven Deaths of the Saint. I was not saying the title before. It's in there. It's carved in. Speaking of multiple deaths, we have The Second Death of Locke by B.L. Bovolino. I started this one in 2025 and had to pause it because I knew I was going to be getting it in an Illumicrate. I have it now. Let me go get it. Why didn't I prepare for this video? So I started The Second Death of Locke on Libby and then found out I was getting an Illumicrate edition and wanted to read it physically, so I put it on pause. And then I received the book and I was a little disappointed with the outer cover. It's nice, like this is good art, but I just felt elicited no emotion after seeing this cover. Like this cover draws me in. This cover makes me feel things. I'm already rooting for whatever the hell is happening in this book based on the cover. And then I got this and I went, this is every YA fantasy book cover ever. I felt nothing. Nothing. I was so annoyed. But then I took the cover off and I got this. And I was happy again. I was chill. It's okay. I like this cover. I feel very excited about this. I kind of want the original cover. I'm trying not to be an absolute book dork about this and just accept this beautiful edition, but something about the original cover really did something for me. I'm really enjoying this book. It's still paused. The art too. This art doesn't match the art on the cover. It doesn't even match the art in the back, which is gorgeous. Love this art. It doesn't match this art. What's going on? Why are there 3 different arts here and then this? Somebody got their wires crossed. What is The Second Death of Locke about? Having read about 15 to 20% of it, I can tell you it follows our main character, Gray, who is a knight and protector to her mage, Heir. They are sent on a quest to protect a child that is believed to be the heir of Locke, after many people thought that the heir had died. So they are sent on a quest to get this heir to protection outside of the war. However, both Gray and Heir know that this is not the heir of Locke for reasons we get into within the story, and things really kind of just set off as I started reading, and I was feeling hooked, so I hope I remain hooked into the story. I really liked their dynamic together. There was a lot of yearning and tension, so much yearning. Like if you're looking for just true blue yearning, The Second Death of Locke. But I'm really excited to continue on in 2026. This next book I put on my 2026 list after Rochelle from Good Morning Dreamer put a vlog out. It is We Used to Live Here by Marcus Kluwer, and it's a haunted house story. A lot of people have said is very similar to House of Leaves. If you watched my House of Leaves vlog, you know it's absolutely unhinged for me to seek out a book that is similar to House of Leaves. But I've heard that this is more like House of Leaves light. The fun of House of Leaves, it's the madness of House of Leaves without being so convoluted. It's set within an actual structured story for you to unpack, and there's like Reddit forums. You can deep dive into it. It sounds really fun. It sounds really interesting. I'm hoping it doesn't drive me mad in the way that House of Leaves did. Again, I have a vlog. I'll put it up above and down below or somewhere. It'll be available to you if you want to know more about my thoughts on House of Leaves. I also put on pause Emily Wilde's Compendium of Lost Tales. This is the 3rd and I believe final book in the Emily Wilde series. I started this, was really enjoying it, but I was just so busy that my Libby hold expired. I just suspended the hold until I was ready. I hope that I'm ready in 2026. Emily Wilde's stories are her as an academic studying fairies and eventually trying to go to different realms in order to do a larger quest with her partner in crime, Wendell. I really enjoyed these books. I really don't want them to end, which is possibly a little bit of the reason why it took me so long to get to this one. I think that it is coming to an end, and I think that it will feel really fulfilling, so I'm happy about that. Hemlock and Silver by T. Kingfisher also started this one. Same era, the same I can't read right now era of Libby Holds getting overthrown. So T. Kingfisher is an auto-buy author for me. Hemlock and Silver follows a poison master who is hired by the king in order to figure out what is ailing the king's daughter. She's obviously super threatened by this because if she does anything wrong, she could die, but denying the king is also not an option. I don't know where the story is going. I only got like a snippet, but it starts out funny. Every single interaction with this character, I was laughing out loud, and I cannot wait to start it again and get to the end because I really want to know how this is all going to go and just where we're going in general. As I said 1,000,000,000 bajillion times, I am officially reading the original story that inspired Dracula, which is Carmilla. I have wanted to read Carmilla forever. I got a lot of really great recommendations for different Carmilla retellings. I need to start with Carmilla, so I'll make sure that I read Carmilla first when I do that vampire vlog that I really hope I can make. Not making promises, just hoping I can make the vlog. Also hoping to pick back up Every Spiral of Fate. This is the 4th book in the Woven Kingdom trilogy. This is the 4th book in a trilogy. I'm losing my mind. Hold on, let me have some coffee. Yeah, so as I was saying, this is the 4th book in a series, not a trilogy, and I don't know when this is ending. I didn't even realize that I had read all 3 books last year in 2025, but I did. That's wild, because I wasn't reading much, but I guess I was reading this series. The first book follows Eliza. She is a Jinn. She's supposed to be the heir to the Jinn dynasty, but her kingdom was conquered by a different kingdom. They've been colonized, and she is trying to create an uprising and support her people while also remaining in hiding. However, the prince of the kingdom sees her using her Jinn abilities and thinks that she is a spy. I would say that this is one of the most character-driven, possibly romantasy, definitely political fantasies I've ever read, with really lush prose, beautiful descriptions, and a very, I don't know, I don't want to say edible, but I feel like it's a really edible romance. Like, I feel like I just kind of devour it, and then I go, wow, where's more? Then I have Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. I'm going to be doing a romance vlog, not to rip apart romance, but to try and see where I kind of am in the romance genre. I want to find my niche. I want to know where I stand, what kind of things I like, what kind of things I don't like, because anytime people really hype up a romance book, it's not that I'm disinterested, I just feel immediately other. I feel like I'm not understanding the hype. It's not that I don't understand how someone could like something I don't like, but that I literally don't know whether I like it or not. I don't know my taste within romance, and I want to be excited about authors too, and I just think that I can enjoy anything within any genre, and this is a genre I've dabbled in without really finding a space. My dear friend Soleil loves romance. She reads a lot within the romance genre across the map. Knowing my taste, she recommended me Abby Jimenez along with several other authors. The way she described Abby Jimenez feels like her books might be for me, so I'm putting in Part of Your World, which is the part of an interconnected standalone, and if I like it, I'll continue the series. If I don't, oh well, I feel like I might. I was excited for it, so I put it on the list. I have several other romance books I plan on dabbling in at different spice levels. Some I'm more scared of than others, but I am going to be trying those out. This was one I felt genuinely, earnestly excited for, so it ended up on this list. Next up is an Ava Reid. If you've been on my channel a lot, you know I really love Ava Reid. Like, I adore her. I've actually read most of her backlist, so I don't know how this one kind of creeped out of the way. Inamorata is a new book that she just came out with, first in a duology called The House of Teeth. Cover is absolutely gorgeous. A visionary and atmospheric gothic fantasy about necromancy, vengeance, and soul-consuming love. Necromancy, you could have stopped there. I really do love necromancy. I'll be real, I don't know if that statement stands up in court. It might just be Gideon the Ninth that I'm in love with, but I'm here for the necromancy and Ava Reid. I think that that could be a vicious combination that I would really enjoy. I haven't read the synopsis yet, and I think I'll just kind of leave it there. It's one that I'm heavily interested in. Another book on my list that kind of snagged my attention and kept it was The Morrigan by Kim Curran. The Morrigan is an Irish folklore tale. This author also came out with a more recent book, Brigid, which is also Irish folklore and Celtic mythology. I'm very into that. To put it frankly, it says it's a feminist retelling, and I'm just betting on it. I feel good about it. I I like the cover. I like that we're focusing on the Morrigan. I'm hoping for the best and also kind of expecting it. Then back to Ava Reid, A Theory in Dreaming. I read A Study in Drowning, I think this year, maybe last year. Really loved it, really enjoyed it. This is the Illumicrate edition. I actually, again, really like the original editions. I started book 2 and just actually wasn't feeling it. And so I set it down to see if a different point in the year I'm really craving Ava Reid, or maybe I'll have just read her other book and so I'll want more of Ava Reid, and that'll get me to pick this one back up. It did not immediately grab my attention when I started it, so I set it down instead of powering through. I want to give it its full chance. KK is one I'm picking up after picking up Goddess of the River, which I absolutely loved and made me really interested in this author and her work and feminist deities and immortals. I like how she tackled it and I want to see if she can do it again. I think Goddess of the River was possibly more heavily praised. I'm thinking going in with that will help me kind of like situate within the novel. A part of the synopsis says, so begins KK's story. The only daughter of the kingdom of Kekaya, she is raised on tales about the might and benevolence of the gods, how they churned the vast oceans to obtain the nectar of immortality, how they vanquished evil and ensure the land of Bharat prospers, and how they offer powerful boons to the worthy. Yet she watches as her father unceremoniously banishes her mother, listens as her own worth is reduced to a marriage alliance, and when she calls upon the gods for help, they never seem to hear. I've heard that this is kind of a villain origin story. I'm not familiar with the original stories of KKE. This will be my first introduction to any of this mythology. Vaishnavi Patel dealt with Ganga in Goddess of the River with a lot of research and sensitivity, so my hope is that she did the same thing with this and that I enjoy it as much, if not more. Daggerbound is the second in a duology that I never saw coming. Swordheart. This is one of my favorite books of all time. Swordheart, I believe, would fall into cozy fantasy. It follows a woman who, after the death of her father, she gains an inheritance, which then her husband and his family try and steal from her. In order to get out of the situation, she plans on stabbing herself with a giant broadsword, which she awkwardly tries to do, only for the broadsword to have like a human component come out and a soul trapped in the broadsword that then helps protect and guide her into the city so that she can annul her marriage and get her inheritance. There is a monk lawyer that helps them along the way. I never needed this to end. It could have just kept going. When it did, it was kind of an inevitability. I guess it had to end eventually, and when it did, I was sad about it. And then I got the news that Daggerbound was coming out. I have no idea where this story is going. I'm not looking at the synopsis. I'm just going in with the same amount I knew about this book, which was zilch. We are down to my last 3 books. This was 23 out of my 26. The last 3 are so incredibly desperate. They're not real. I really only have 23 books on this list. Well, one of them I hope is actually really real. Okay, I take that back. Let's get out of the rambling and get to the juice of the matter. The first book is incredibly desperate. Like, there is not a chance in hell I'm getting this book, and if it comes out, I'm dropping everything. Nothing will withstand my love for Gideon the Ninth, the Locked Tomb trilogy, and the 4th book, Alecto the Ninth. I have anticipated this since I read Gideon. I have read Gideon the Ninth, Harrow the Ninth, and Nona the Ninth 3 times each. I have deep dived into them. I've listened to podcasts. I've obsessed over them. I have tabbed them. I'm ready, okay? I'm ready. I will read them again before Alecto comes out. But in the off chance that Alecto comes out in 2026, I will be there. And I know that it's not happening. We don't even have a cover. We don't have a release date. It's been pushed back a million times. It's on this list and it's not moving. In that same vein, we have The Lord of Demons within the Burning series by Evan Winter. The first one being Rage of Dragons, the second one being Fires of Vengeance. Absolutely love those books. Absolutely obsessed. One of my top 10 favorites of all time. I have a video where I go through all of my favorite books so you can see how obsessed I am with them. Like, it's sickening. I will drop anything for this. If they come out at the same time, I don't even know what'll happen. And then finally, the book that I really do believe is coming out in 2026 is my book, and that is The Solstice Heir, the second in the Thrice Kingdom trilogy by me. So I'm in control of this ship, and I really hope that it sails. If you want to know more about my publishing timeline, I'll have it linked up above and down below, and hopefully it's coming out in June of this year. I guess we'll see. We'll find out together. Hi, Editing Jade here to say that this is coming out right around the time that I'm also giving my cover reveal, so I'll go ahead and cover reveal the book here, so it's a little less anticlimactic. So 3, 2, 1, go! I absolutely adore it. It's amazing. It's beautiful. It's eliciting all of the emotions that I want to out of this book. We are having a little bit of a transition in tone as the characters and the story grows outside of the Solstice Court. Here's the blurb. I'll also toss this up here just to really, plug it. And it will also hopefully be available to pre pre-order this spring. Really did not want to anticlimactically just stick the cover art into my list. I'm very excited. I really do think this book is going to be coming out in 2026. I know I seem uncertain there, but you know, I've gotten more beta edits since this video was filmed, and I'm feeling really good and really positive about moving forward with the book. I'm not as worried as she is, okay? It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be okay. Also, if you see my cover anywhere on Instagram, please repost it and feel free to add it to either your Goodreads, Pagebound, the Storygraph, anywhere you can find it. It gives me a little bit more visibility, or add book 1 to your list, because you know, you should definitely start there. Start with book 1. I'm gonna go ahead and switch out the emoji that Past Jade has and say, go ahead and leave the volcano emoji for the book reveal, because while there's not a volcano on this cover, there is definitely a volcano in book 2. But yeah, okay, yay! Very excited, and very excited that editing this video is over, because I've been editing this for way too long. So many other videos have been posted since then. All right, bye! Thank you so much for watching. Let me know which book you are most looking forward to in 2026, if it's any books on these lists or if it's another one entirely. If you have a recommendation, let me know down below. But whether you do or not, I hope you're enjoying the sun or more stars wherever you are, and until next time, bye!